everybody, how are you? So, I hope you're all well. Welcome to our first video class of Gold Experience C1. Remember, for these classes you'll need your books, you'll need a pen and of course a piece of paper to write ideas. Remember, sometimes I'll ask you to do a task or just to think about something. When I do this, pause the video, okay, write down your ideas or the answers and then start again and we'll check. Okay? Now today we're going to look at writing a report. Okay? Some of you looked at this or started to look at this in the last class. We're going to review it again for those of you that weren't there and then write the report. So if you've already done it, you might want to just move directly to writing the report in part 9. But why not look at the task again just to remind yourself? Okay? So, we're going to start off by looking at a report that's about raising money. Fundraising, what is that? That's right, collecting money for doing things, for doing an activity. Maybe collecting money to help children in Africa. What different kinds of fundraising can you think about? Pause the video and write down a few ideas. Okay, so here are some ideas of mine. Okay, I wrote them down here earlier. Maybe live events, that might be quite a good idea. Car washing cars or windows and collecting money that way. Sponsored events, did you have that? Or perhaps selling lottery tickets. Those are all good ways. We're looking at another good way though in this report, a school fair. Do you have school fairs at your schools? Well, let's start off. Open our books on page 72 and 73. Let's start thinking about events. We've got 3 questions in part 1. Here we are. 1, why might people want feedback? 2, there's a list of reasons, but what kind of information is the most important to include for people who've just organised an event for fundraising? And number 3, as you can see, what sort of things can go wrong? Write down a few ideas, see what you think. Okay. Pause the video, answer the questions. Okay. So, finished? Good. Why might people want feedback after an event? Well, I suppose it's important to evaluate something and, it'll help them improve it if they do it in the future. Number 2, what kind of information would it be most helpful to report on? Obviously you might report on different things, but probably the most important thing, if you're trying to raise money, is the amount of money. Okay. Number 3, what sort of things can go wrong with an event? Hundreds of things, but I can think of, let's see if you agreed with me, bad weather. Very possible in Lugo. Not very many people turn up. You run out of things, You're selling food and you run out of food. Well, all sorts of different things. I'm sure you had more than me. Okay, let's look at an example of a good report. Look at the picture at the bottom. Here it is, and read the writing task in exercise 2. Underline what you need to include in your report and decide who will read your report. Pause the video. Okay, so what do you have to write about? That's right, you need to write a report. 1, describing the fair. 2, explaining how successful it was. And 3, suggesting or making recommendations for the next time. Good. Remember those 3 things. Who will read your report? That's right, it's the organising committee. Okay. This informs you. Remember these are the basic questions. Identify what you need to include and who is going to read your writing. So, read the report on the school fair, and answer the questions in part 3. Okay, so pause the video, read the questions, read the report, and then note your answers. Pause. Hi. So, good report, eh? So, first of all, is a report formal? Yeah, it is, of course. Why? Well, mainly because of the people who are going to be reading it, but also because you probably want to show that you're professional or serious about what you're reporting on. 2. Why does the report use headings? Well, a report needs to present information, okay, and headings are a good way to organise information for you, the writer, and also for the reader. 3. Which of these language features might typically be included in a report? Explaining, describing, and suggesting. Okay. Do you need to give your own opinion? Yes, of course. Yeah, if it asks for a recommendation, yes. And you do that in the last section. Okay. So, let's move to 73 and just look at the exam tip, report writing. Remember, in a report, use headings. Make the headings match what is needed in the writing task. So do, first of all, match the headings in the report with the objectives from the writing task. What is the relationship between the headings and the task? Pause. Let's go through it then. The fair, yes, is related to the section describing the fair. Results, okay, that's related to explaining how successful it was. And what would you recommend, okay, is related to the recommendation section. I think I got my fingers mixed up, but never mind. You get the idea, okay? Each section for each part of the question. How about the balance of information? Is the amount of text after each heading roughly the same or different? And why? Well, it's the same, more or less, isn't it? I mean, it looks better, but also it gives a more balanced and even style to the report. Okay, let's move on to part 4. We're going to look at topic sentences. Read the first sentence under the fair in the report in exercise 3. The one-day fair was set up, that sentence. Okay, answer these questions. Pause. Okay, so what is the purpose of the topic sentence? The topic sentence is the key introductory sentence of a paragraph, and in this case it's there to say what the report will talk about. Does the topic sentence, the first sentence, include details or a general point? A general point. It just introduces the topic of the paragraph. And what kind of information comes after this sentence? Ta-da! Details. That's right. Okay. Part 5, it says identify the topic sentences. We won't do this. I'll give you a clue. It's the first sentence in each part after the heading. Okay? Of course, the general sentence before the detail. Look at part 6. Which one of these would you say is a topic sentence? Pause the video, read them, and tell me. What did you have? That's right, number 1. It introduces the fact that it was a success and then says we're going to give you the details. Okay, it's a general sentence. Okay, in part 7 we have an example paragraph, but it's missing that topic sentence, that sentence which helps the reader know what is going to be covered in the paragraph. Pause the video, read, and write what you think would be a good topic sentence. Then compare with mine. Okay. Well, the paragraph is about different levels of success. So, for me, I would put something like some stalls, Yeah, some stalls were found to be more popular than others. What about you? I'm sure you did something great. Okay, so vocabulary, as we know in reports, should be formal. We've already noted that reports are formal. Here are some formal expressions that we can use. What are some alternatives? Look at exercise 8. What other words could you use to replace these highlighted words? These words are perfectly good words, but can you think of any others? Pause. Okay, so outlines. This report outlines, this report describes, this report explains. Okay, obviously that's going to be a good way to start your report. Number 2, the results show. Show, we could use illustrate. In this way, like this, for example, like this. We can, We should consider, think about. We should bear in mind. There's an expression for you. Ask me when you come back and I'll tell you. Bear in mind, good expression. It would be a good idea. Perhaps we could moderate it and say it might be a good idea. In conclusion, to sum up, to conclude, in summary, lots of different possibilities to introduce our final section where we make our recommendation. Okay, so there we have a model report. Now it's your turn. Okay, we're nearly finished. Look at this section right on. Okay, you've got a writing task. Read the writing task and decide what details you need to write about. Okay? Think about who you're going to write for. Okay? Pause. So, who are you writing for? The organising committee again, so we know what the formality is going to be. It's going to be a very formal text. What are you writing, or what are you going to include? Well, very similarly to our model, we're going to first describe the event, secondly, explain how successful it was, and thirdly, make recommendations for the next time. If you want to use different language for making recommendations, there's some useful expressions here. So, the question is about quiz nights, okay? Brainstorm some ideas, think about the objectives of the report, yeah? Follow these steps to plan your report. Think about the objectives, make notes on the information you need, people attending, how entertaining it was, the amount of money taken. Decide what went well, what things were not so good, what might need improving, and finally what suggestions you have. Work out your headings. Remember, you need about 4. Think about the focus of each sentence. Maybe write your topic sentence first for each section. And then, it says work in pairs. You can't do that. And then, part 11. Write your report in 220 to 260 words. Okay? Remember, there's no class on Thursday because it's Father's Day. Don't forget dads. Okay? So you've got time to do a really nice copy. Use your plan it carefully, write a rough copy, read it through, and then improve it. Okay? Read your report, make notes on these things. Did you use formal language? Okay, just check. Did you cover all the points? Make sure you did, with a clear reason for any recommendations. Did you use formal language? How about one of these expressions when you made recommendations? Did you organise your information, use headings, and have clear topic sentences? Okay, I'm sure you did. We're going to stop there. So you've got some work to do now. Write me that report, your school on the quiz night. Yeah, write me that report, the one in exercise 9. You write it on the computer if you like. Send it me to the email address. Okay. I'll correct it and try and get it back to you. Okay, so we'll stop there. As I said, hope you're all well. Don't forget to wash your hands, all this business. And most important, keep yourself awake, not too much looking at the mobile. Okay, all right. So take care and have a good day. Goodbye.